Hi, this is Marcel of Marcel on Tech, and today I am reviewing what are arguably some of the best earbuds on the market from Apple, which of course are their Apple AirPods Pro 2s. They've been out for a long time. They haven't been updated really since 2023, which is where these ones are from, and we're due for an upgrade. So I wanted to talk about my experience having tested these for the last 2 weeks because we know all the specs, but we want to know how good are they. Let's get into it. So getting straight into it, my first experience with opening the box, which is pretty unexciting. It's an Apple box. Actually, I got these, in fairness, secondhand. I bought these secondhand and I saved 80 euros, nearly 100 euros I saved on this, which is obviously 1/3 the price, because they're still 289 euros if you buy them brand new from Apple. I got these for 190 euros and they are in perfect condition. Didn't come in the original box, but I really don't care about that. But it came with all brand new earbuds, cable, and the box is in perfect, pristine condition. So what was my experience of using the earbuds? So first and foremost, the box is very plastic. It's high quality plastic, I'll give it that, but it is very plastic. You've got USB Type-C at the bottom here. You've got a little speaker here and here where you've got a microphone as well. It does make sound, so when you put it on a wireless charger, for example, it makes a ding-dong sound. If you plug it in, it makes a ding-dong sound. And if you lose them or you want to know where they are, you can actually press a search button on the phone and it will make a sound to alert you as to where they are. Now, what I always like to do is I always like to plug them into my ears whilst I'm on camera so you can see what they look like. And I have to say, first and foremost, let's have a little look at the design of the buds themselves. So they are characteristically Apple, okay? So they look very much, they famously made this design. The key thing for me about these AirPods over all other AirPods from Apple is the rubber tips. Without this, I can't use them. So the original ones that come with, that just fit inside or sit inside the ear without the tips, they're just no good for me. And anyone I've spoken to about it, all say the same thing. They just cannot wear those ones because they fall out very, very easily. You can't do sport, even walking with them is limited because they just fall out every single time. So the ear tips for me were an essential one. And of course, what does Apple do? They tend to put them on their Pro version so they can charge more. But the use of this thing has been an absolute pleasure. So when I put them in my ears, the air kicks in immediately. Now, connectivity. Case in point, what has happened there is as soon as I put them in my ears, they connected to my Mac Mini, which is just down here, and they immediately started playing the YouTube video that I was playing last, which happened to be one of mine. So, connectivity for all Apple devices is seamless. Once it connects to one, in this case, I connected it originally to my iPhone, where you just literally open the box, the iPhone connects it or detects it and puts an animation for a new pair of Apple AirPods Pro 2, and you just select, connect, and that's it. Then, whenever you use a device that is signed into your iCloud account, whether it be your Mac Mini or your MacBook, it automatically switches to it. And it will switch to the one that you are using, which is so cool and really, really easy to use. And I love the ecosystem for that reason. So if you're looking for something that does that, from your iPad to your phone, to your MacBook, to your Mac Mini, these are the best that are gonna work because the connectivity is brilliant and it has worked seamlessly every time. It just connects to the MacBook when I'm using that, or it connects to the phone when I'm using that. So it is really cool. So connectivity has been seamless and I've had no Bluetooth breakdowns, disconnection, or anything like that. Obviously, you can only go so far away, but for me, if I'm here at the computer, I'm working at it. If I go into another room and I'm about more than 10 meters away, I can lose connectivity, but otherwise it's extremely reliable for connectivity. So I love it. The next topic, sound quality is good. I have to say, I was expecting a little bit more. And where I feel it's lacking a bit is bass. Now, I'm quite bass heavy. I do like to have bass, and it could be that I need to tweak a little bit more within the settings of the AirPods in the phone because you can adjust the equalizer for sure. But I found that the mids push quite hard, and it can vary depending on the music that you're listening to. So I've listened to a plethora of music, from classical music to R&B to hip hop to rock, and I find that the musical notes that it pushes through can vary depending on the music, which I think is quite clever. And sometimes you're hearing things within songs that you don't actually realize are there. And I had, on occasion, I've heard sounds within a song, like the ringing of a bell, for example, that I'd never heard before in that song that I'm very familiar with, but I can hear it in these earphones. I don't know how much of a good thing that is. Maybe it is a good thing because it's defining different elements of the music. I didn't dislike it. It was just a bit unexpected. So it was pretty cool. But that's something that I've identified. The sound quality is not bad. That is for sure. I can tell you that for sure. It is not bad at all. But it is a little bit different. There's a little bit less fullness to it than I thought there would be. And then maybe there's something I'm missing. So if you have any suggestions as to how I should set up my EQ, put a comment below. I'd love to know. That would be very, very helpful. But otherwise, the sound quality is just, I would say it's an A, but it's not an A+. And I want these, and I expect these to be A+ for sound because they are expensive. They're not the most expensive, but they are expensive. So they should be A+, and they're from Apple as well. Moving on to ANC transparency modes as well. So these are very clever. Here's what I love. The ANC is awesome. When you activate ANC, it very much blocks things out. It's not completely deafening, as in you don't hear absolutely nothing, but the way it suppresses sound is absolutely awesome. And it's amazing actually, because that silence is something you're not often very used to. So for example, if you're in an office space, the ambient sound you become used to, as soon as you put these in, it blocks out that type of sound. And suddenly you're in this quieter environment that allows you to focus so much more that it actually makes it very pleasant to have these in with the ANC. Now, you've got a various options for it. So you've got active ANC, so of course it's full strength and it blocks out sound, transparency, adaptive, and then none at all. So obviously none at all means it switches off any ANC, and sound that would get through a normal earphone blockage will come through. Transparency literally means it pushes sound into your ear from what it's picking up around you. So it has microphones that then push the sound into your ear, which I find a little bit overwhelming actually. But then it has adaptive ANC, and that's very cool because if there is suddenly a noise around you, it will push the ANC up or increase the volume to your music, which I think is very clever. So if, for example, I'm walking outside and I go past a building site and there's some drilling going on, it pushes the volume of my music up so that I can then hear it without me having to do anything at all. That is adjustable. You can change that if you want to, but I think that's very clever because I really, really enjoy that. The other side of that is that one of the biggest problems I've always had with ANC is that, let's say I meet somebody or I want to have a conversation, you have to take the earphones out. But with these, it detects my voice. So it detects that I'm talking, and then it pulls down the volume of the music or whatever you're listening to and the ANC so you can have a conversation. Once you stop that conversation, it lifts it back up again. Here's one of the problems with that. If you're the type of person that listens to music with these in and sings along, it will do that as well. So if you've got that switched on, the adaptive and voice detection mode, it will cut out the ANC and the music if you're singing along to the music. So you're going to want that either switched off, or you have to sing very quietly or not at all in order to stop it from cutting out whilst you're singing along to your song. So you have to decide if that's something you want to do. But I found that out when I was singing along to some music that I had in my ears, that it would cut out if I start to sing out loud because it would think that I was talking. So that's one downside, but it's not a big deal and you can kind of live with that unless you absolutely have to sing along with your music. My only complaint, I would say, with these earbuds is comfort. Now, I know if you have watched any of my videos before, you will know that my ears are a little bit janky and a little bit funky, particularly my right ear is a bit more problematic from a canal standpoint. You can see looking face on how these earbuds look. I think they're super flush. I love the fact that the stalks are very short. I love the fact that the stalks are very sensitive. You can obviously do volume control, you can do tracking, you can do pause, play, answer the phone, hang up, all of these things we know already. There are even gestures for answering calls and so on. Now, this hasn't worked for me. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I have it switched on, but basically, if I receive a call and I have the earphones in, I can just nod my head like that and it should answer the call. I haven't got it to work yet. You can also do that in order to make it cut the call off as well. You can do the same with notifications where it can read it into your head, but again, with the head gestures, I haven't yet got it to work. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Again, put a comment below if you can suggest any better ideas. But otherwise, those types of things haven't really been particularly reliable for me, but it's not the end of the world. I don't really care about them, although they are quite useful. And like I say, the final thing is comfort for more than 30 minutes. So I've used and tested, if you've seen some of my other videos, some amazing earpods that are incredibly comfortable. In fact, so comfortable you forget that they're there. These ones I don't. I don't forget that these are here, and I don't know whether that's the design of the buds or whether it's the design of the silicone gummies that go inside the ear, but I can definitely feel it's there, and I don't get the feeling that I'm going to forget that it's there either. So I do know that they are there, and I can feel them inside my ears, and then, especially on my right side, it actually starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable, and it just sort of feels like I want to take them out. So that is a massive limitation. Now, in fairness, it's probably a good thing that I take out the earbuds regularly, and leaving them in there for more than 30 minutes is probably not recommended anyway, but sometimes you're going to want to, right? And so that I feel was probably the biggest downside to these Apple AirPods Pro 2 was that for some reason or other, because they're not excessively heavy, they're not excessively large, but for one reason or another, sitting inside my ear canal, and I have tried different silicone tips, sitting inside my earlobe, it just doesn't feel as comfortable as other earbuds have been. However, that wouldn't be a deal breaker for me because I do love the battery life has been excellent. I've literally charged it once. I've had it for 2 weeks. I've been trying to rinse them out and I haven't been able to yet. I've still got about 14% on the case. And these keep refueling, of course, every time I plug them back in. So they go up and down. And I've been using them pretty much every day, at least about 10, 15 minutes every single day with the ANC on full whack as well. So it is very, very good. I love the wireless charging because I do have a wireless charging dock here that I can just sit them on and it will charge up. And it is very, very quick. And they are signature design by brand. You can tell that they're Apple AirPods, and for conversations or audio books or podcasts, etc., very good as well. So overall, I've been really pleased with them. They're not perfect. They should be, but they're not perfect. And I'm very excited to find out what the Apple AirPods Pro 3 look like in September when, of course, Apple announce the apparent updates as well. So if you agree or disagree with anything I've said, please put a comment below. I'd love to know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. The channel keeps growing every day and I love making these videos for you. Please let me know if it's something else in particular you'd like to know about these earbuds. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. See you in my next one. Bye-bye for now.